card pull, everything is the same on the game, because my game didn't want me to play with the heavy bat. I couldn't play with the heavy bat. He himself came and told also, then that I want to open the innings because.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SK Live. We have today a very special guest. Yes, we don't need introduction for Azharuddin sir. Welcome, sir, to SK Live. Thanks for joining us. So, how have you been?
Everything is fine so far, so good. So we had our Apex Council meeting the other day. So there are a lot of pending decisions had to be made. So we just finished that meeting day before yesterday. But now since cases are still going up, so I think I'm just taking it easy now again.
No, you burst into the international scene, as a wonder boy. Having three back-to-back centuries and the way it happened, it was a fairy tale kind of a journey. I mean, can you just run us through? I mean, what was that phase when you started off as a wonder boy of Indian cricket?
I think when I first played my Ranji Trophy match, I was very happy that at least I played Ranji Trophy, but I was not thinking very that far, because I took everything step by step. Then I played all grades of cricket except under 19 India under 19. I was not picked for the team, because I thought I was good enough to get selected for the under 19 side, which went to England. I think it was 1980 or 1981. But I think that's the only one tournament I have not played. Otherwise, I have played all grades of cricket before I played Test cricket. So first year was not very good. Second year was very pathetic. And third year, I got a chance, where I didn't think that I would make it to the Ranji Trophy side. But as luck would have it, I got that chance in that 1984, I think, the first match we played against Andhra. I got 105, and then that's how I got selected to play for the South Zone. And I think my graph, if you see, from the January of 1984, I started doing well, winning the Ranji Trophy, then Dilip Trophy, then Irani Trophy. I went to Zimbabwe with the under 25 cricket team, and then from 1st of January, I made my debut on the 31st of January 1984 for India. I think that 1 year, everything was like went smoothly, and I really felt very happy that the amount of hard work we put in. When I was in school, when I was in college, and when I trophy, so it paid off. That was one of the most important things. But in between, a lot of one tragedy happened because I lost my grandfather when I was playing in Ahmedabad in that under 25 game against England. So that was one of the things where I was very very close to my grandfather. Whatever it is, I am after the Almighty Allah and His Prophet Muhammad, and then my father's prayer, my mother's prayer, my grandmother used to pray for me. My grandfather was the pillar of strength. So he couldn't see me play the test match. But I believe when I spoke to my mother when I came back after that match, my mother told me that my grandfather on Friday, he died on the Friday. And after the Friday prayer, he came and told my mother that your son is going to play test cricket, and then we will all go and see the match. But unfortunately, on the night he passed away.
So, talking about being a good player, you're still good. I mean, I saw you other day, knocking the ball inside the Uppal Stadium, I guess, and you still look the same. I mean, the way you were putting the ball on the onside, that's been your trademark style of batting. I mean, what was that? Still, I've seen you videos also taking catches in the slips. Immaculate.
Well, I think the amount of hard work I put in, the amount of catches I took, or put hard work into my fielding. It's still, it is there, but my batting as I don't know whether I was good or not when you saw me on those videos, when the ball is coming at maybe 60, at the 60 kilometers per hour, so that's why good. Maybe 140 I might not be able to play. But I think when you have the basics right, I don't think you falter in any way, because when you pick up the bat, it's the same, like what it used to be over a period of time. Forward defense, backward defense, front foot drive, back foot drive, cut, pull, everything is the same. At that time, cricket was different. Now it is totally different, because I think cricket is a game, where an attitude in cricket will always change, it's a growing game, because it's growing all the time. What it used to be in the 1950s was not like that in the 70s or 80s or 90s. When I used the light bat is because my game didn't warrant me to play with a heavy bat. I couldn't play with a heavy bat because my game was different. Their game was different. So everybody played according to their game. According to their game, they had the bat. And for example, even Graham Gooch at that one point of time, used to use, use a very, very heavy bat, and then Sachin also used a very heavy bat, and then Clive Lloyd. So many other players who use very, very heavy bat. But I think it depends on the game, because my game didn't want me to play with a heavy bat. I couldn't play with a heavy bat.
I think Virat Kohli is yet another captain who is, taking your tradition forward by being fit. But
Right.
like Virat Kohli, I remember when your batting also improved at the highest level with captaincy. So, what do you have to say about that?
But I think it depends, if you are a captain, it depends on how you take the captaincy. There are some players, who cannot, they're very, very good players, very outstanding players, but with captaincy, it puts a lot of pressure on their game. So if the captaincy is one thing where, when you go into bat, if you're, for example, if you're a batsman, you need to go and bat as a batsman, not as a captain. If you go out there and at the back of your mind, that you're a captain. But at the end of the day, when you go into bat, you have to just think that you're just another player going and
Yeah,
batting. That's how you take away the captaincy pressures, because captaincy is a very difficult job, like if you only become a good captain when you don't have an ego. The moment you have an ego, it's a problem.
no, that story goes like that. You went to New Zealand for some cricket tour, and you saw yourself in front of the mirror, and that was the time you were putting on a little bit of weight, and that's the time you decided that you're going to really embrace fitness for life. So, is there any
Yeah. I used to do a lot of training, because then suddenly I had a, problem in my groin, because of this problem, and then I was, I remember the first time it happened in the 1987 World Cup. Like for example, we were playing the semi-finals. I was in too much pain. I got 60 odd. But maybe if we were playing the finals, I would have found it very difficult to play in the finals because I had a very bad injury. I still had a lot of pain in my groin, and then I started taking a lot of cortisone injections, and I missed a couple of test matches also, or maybe three or four test matches. So that's when this is what happened, and that's how I started putting on weight because I couldn't train too much, because I have to be very very careful with the groin, and then I have to make sure that it doesn't get bad, and that's how I started putting on weight. Then with the cortisone injection, I was feeling more hungry, and then that's not it's an excuse actually. I was hungry, and I have to. If I cut down on my food, maybe at that time, maybe I would not have put on weight, but then I just let it go. So it was my fault. And suddenly, when I was playing in New Zealand in '94, I think, and I realized that I tried to bend to stop the ball. Before I could bend, it just like it went past me, and then I realized that this is not going to happen. And then, I was like a good fielder. I was supposed to be a good fielder, and then suddenly when I myself, nobody told me. Like because I was a captain. If I was not a captain, if I was a player, I would have been also told off at that time if I had done that. But then I realized that. Then I suddenly saw myself, that putting on too much weight. And then after that tour, I was going to England to play in the county championship, and that's where I lost almost like maybe 10 kilos weight or something like that.
had you been a selector, would you have picked Lakshman in the World Cup team ever?
At that time, maybe depends. I don't know. It depends because sometimes we have to go with the combination also, and then go with the captain view and on. But I think he was unlucky. Maybe as a batsman, we could have sometimes we can shield the fielders also.
Under you, a lot of talent came, and one of them is, you took the boldest decision to make Sachin Tendulkar the ODI opener. The best ODI opener in the history of the game happened under your captaincy. Can you tell us the
Right.
story? What exactly, how did he become an opener? What exactly went behind the scene?
Well, actually, he was playing so well, but then, it didn't click in my mind, but then he himself came and told also, then that I want to open the innings because then I realized that, I was playing at number five, scoring 30s and 40s and 20s, maybe because I thought he was a very aggressive player. And then in that match, I think Navjot Singh Sidhu was injured or something. So Sherry was injured, so he had to come back. And then when somehow myself and Wadekar sir got convinced and then made him open the innings, because we felt that we should be given a chance, when the player wants to do well, why not?
Lot of negativity is happening because we are not winning. We haven't won a tournament for 7 years, ICC tournament. Last we won was 2013. So, I mean, what do you tell a captain and the team and the management when things are not happening the way it should happen, and they are the best side? I mean, probably a side which no Indian captain had the luxury of having. The best bowling attack. You have a good opener, 1, 2, 3. Somewhere, what is lagging? I mean, there is something which is
I
lacking in
think
this.
sometimes, when these things, when you have a very good team, things not happening, sometimes you have to do something out of the box, something different, like you try different things. Because I think in the last World Cup, when we lost the game in the first half an hour when the ball swung. So maybe
Yeah,
if I had just stuck, if I had played, if the management had told, that even if you don't get runs in the beginning, you just stay there for in the beginning half an hour or 45 minutes, and the ball loses its shine, and then conditions are different. So maybe we would have won that game. But see, I mean, anybody can be wise after the event. I mean, you can
yeah.
even they can be wise after the event. But at the end of the day, when you know what is happening, we have to play according to the situation. But I think you need to be patient, But I think it's just sometimes, I mean, luck runs out as well. So I think that New Zealand match, like because we came so close, but somehow we couldn't manage to win. But I think they need to be patient and then need to do something different, if you really want to win games.
One last question on cricket. You have tremendous regard for Kapil Dev, as an athlete, as a bowler, as a performer, and the way you supported him even towards the fag end of his career to ensure that he gets to his record and all that. So a lot of people. I mean,
Kapil,
your thoughts on that?
Kapil don't need anybody's support. An outstanding talent. It's a very,
Yeah,
very rare talent. I don't think there will be another Kapil Paji for a very, very long time. The way he played the game, the way his fitness was, the way I mean, batting, bowling, and fielding, everything, all in all three departments was outstanding. And plus, on an outstanding person, an outstanding man. I mean, he used to understand everything. Like for example, when I was playing with him and anything from his kit bag, I could take anything and go away. And then the same thing with him also, I could come and take anything from my kit bag and go away. Because I had a very good rapport. I'm an immense respect for him. Like total respect for him. Is one of the best person to have played the game. I mean, the best person I have met, and I'm very unhappy and disappointed that he could not play in the first Test match when I made my debut. There are two regrets I will definitely have. One is that I could not play with Vishibai, one of the finest players and a great man, outstanding personality. The two
yeah.
people who I really, I mean, thought and if they had played with me in the first Test match would have been very good, But Kapil Paji could not play and then Vishibai could not play. So there are two regrets I would have. But otherwise, I'm very happy to know Kapil Paji. Whenever I meet him, it was like, I
Can,
have
can
so much immense respect for him.
Immense stress. No, can you tell us before we end the show one untold story from your playing days which you never revealed it before? Something which is really funny, something which will remain with you, and you still think about it.
But I think it's very hard for me to go back now. Because I don't know. The one story I wouldn't say that, because I mean, once we started, I mean, Wadekar sir was very, very strict, when he came as a manager or coach for the South African tour in '92. But after that, he came back and he laid very, very strong rules and regulations. Then he said, this is what is going to happen. You are not going to go out. You're not going to accept any dinner. No going here and there. That's when you come back, play the game, go back to the room. 10 o'clock or 9:30 it was curfew time. So, but then when we started winning the games, then we became very close to him because when he was like a father figure, was very strict. Everybody was all the kids. The only person who used to really, I mean, play around with him, like was Vinod Kambli. So he
Okay.
always, I mean, he was very jovial with him, and then he was like, I mean, very hard for me to understand how he was so jovial to Kambli. So, but then one day, I mean, in Sri Lanka, I think, or somewhere, I remember we took him to the disco. So that's the story. I mean, Vinod Kambli also was there. So many people are there. They said, okay, sir, you have to dance. We have won the game. So that's when he started. I'm like, but still, when it came to the game, he was strict. But then sometimes we made him bat in the nets also. We used to
Okay.
like, sir, we don't know. I mean, like people say that you are a very big player. He scored 300 against Prasanna, Chandrasekhar, all this, and then so many good innings you have played for Test match, but we have not seen you play. So how can we say that? So then all this, sometimes used to wear all his pads and helmet and used to come and bat in the nets. So it was very nice of him to do that. So these are all things I really enjoyed it.
And you're of course the only politician at that level, after Imran Khan from Pakistan, to
Mhm.
to make a name for yourself. So how is politics treating you?
Politics is now it's a bit slow. So hopefully after the pandemic, things will
Yeah,
improve.
yeah.